Risk and threat assessment, emergency preparedness and safety management. Risks and vulnerabilities. In addition to the humanitarian situation as detailed in the preceding part of the document, the OPT is also vulnerable to other man-made and natural disasters. The most recent overall assessment of risk in the OPT identified the following main risks: natural hazards, including earthquakes, flood, drought, and landslide, and man-made hazard, including conflict escalation, severe stress on natural resources, environmental degradation, and rapid and unregulated urbanization. High vulnerabilities. The main factor behind the high vulnerability, which affect almost all aspects of disaster preparedness, mitigation, and response, are many access and movement restrictions related to the occupation, which impact both disaster-resilient development and the ability of national and international rescue and relief assistance to be provided after a disaster strikes. Risks. We have human life health, social functionality, human right democracy, economy, environment. We have hazard, exposure, vulnerabilities. For hazard, we have conflict, earthquakes, flood, landslide, winter storm. And for exposure, we have location of people, buildings, infrastructure, economic facilities. And for vulnerabilities, we have access restriction, rapid population growth, rapid urbanization, unregulated construction, political division. National and international response capacity. Many localities, including Palestine refugee camp and other vulnerable communities, often have little in the way of disaster risk management planning in place at all, which make them particularly likely to have faced severe consequences from even moderate natural disaster. Due to operational and access restriction, Palestinian communities, civil society, and primary service providers have proven history as primary. Many localities, including Palestine refugee camp and other vulnerable communities, often have little in the way of disaster risk management planning in place at all, which make them particularly likely to face severe consequences from even moderate natural disaster due to operational and access restriction. Palestinian communities, civil society, and primary service provider have proven history as primary responders. However, some aspects of overall disaster preparedness, such as interagency coordination structure, national and local coordination, and coordination with national and local authorities for different types of scenarios and undefined systematic approach, remain only partly completed. Threats. There are different types of natural, technological, and man-made threats and hazards that could impact the state of Rhode Island at any time. Know your risks and find out what you can do to prepare before, during, and after a threat of hazard. Natural. A natural disaster is an event that occurs naturally, negatively affecting people and or the environment, like earthquake and flood. Technological or accidental. Technological threats and hazards are become more and more commonplace due to ever-increasing advances and dependencies on technology. We have transportation accident and power failure. Man-made. A man-made hazard is a threat that has an element of human instinct. Oil spill,